Whenever you send private data across the internet, it travels through an open network. Anyone sitting between you and your destination can intercept that traffic. The challenge is agreeing on a secret password to lock your data when the very channel you use to agree on it is exposed. In 1976, cryptographers like Whitfield Diffie published a mathematical solution to this exact problem. To see exactly how two people can agree on a shared secret without ever actually sending that secret to each other, we are going to work through the math step by step. You only need to be familiar with two operations for this to make sense: calculating an exponent and finding a remainder using modulo arithmetic. By the end of this calculation, the mechanics of asymmetric key exchange will be a straightforward, reproducible process. We start with two public parameters. This diagram shows a prime number, which we'll call p, set to 353, and a base generator g set to 3. Because these numbers are public, they are sent across the network in the clear. An eavesdropper watching the connection has the exact same starting variables as our two users. Next, each party generates their own private key. Alice is here on the left, and Bob is on the right. They must never share these numbers. For our calculation, Alice selects a private key of 97. Bob selects 233. The only mathematical requirement at this stage is that both of these private keys must be less than our prime number, -1, in this case, less than 352. At this exact moment, the network observer sees the public numbers 353 and 3, but is completely unaware of Alice's 97 or Bob's 233. Now we use a formula to transform those secret keys into shareable public keys. We take the public base g, raise it to the power of the secret key x, and find the remainder modulo p. Let's run Alice's numbers. She raises base 3 to the power of her secret 97, modulo 353. Her result is 40. Bob does the same with his number, 3 to the power of 233, modulo 353. His result is 248. These two results, 40 and 248, are their public keys. They are safe to share. Alice sends her 40 to Bob across the open network, and Bob sends his 248 to Alice. An eavesdropper has now intercepted four numbers, the original 353 and 3, plus the exchanged 40 and 248. But they still lack the private keys. To find those private keys, an attacker would have to reverse the modulo math. With large enough numbers, calculating that reverse path is computationally unfeasible. Step 3 is the final calculation. Both parties take the public key they just received and raise it to the power of their own private key, modulo p. Alice takes the 248 she received from Bob, raises it to her secret 97, modulo 353. Her final result is 160. Bob takes the 40 he received from Alice, raises it to his secret 233, modulo 353. His final result is also 160. Look closely at the math. Both parties executed different calculations using their own distinct private keys, yet they arrived at the exact same final number, 160. That number was never transmitted. We have successfully generated an identical key on two isolated machines. Because both sides now possess this matched value, they can use it as a shared secret key to encrypt and decrypt their actual message data. To keep the math clear on screen, we used 3-digit numbers. In practice, modern computers execute this same process using prime numbers that are hundreds of digits long. At that scale, the mathematical barrier defending the exchanged keys becomes dense enough to withstand attacks from massive computing clusters. The steps you just calculated are running silently in the background right now, establishing the secure connections you rely on every time you load a web page.